What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and this is going to be my first impression of the Pirate Banner that we're going to be getting this month, and I'll be going over if you should be summoning for these units or not. Obviously Choose Your Legends 5 is coming up, so you should try to just scout what Choose Your Legends 5 has in store, because this banner is going to be lasting for an entire month. So the first unit that we have is Pirate Surtr. Surtr has got CCR Lance, quite a bit of a tongue twister, but this weapon gives him -1 special cooldown, so Bonfire becomes a 2-turn special. And this weapon is always going to be active in the enemy phase, and in the player phase, you want the enemy to be above 75% HP. So the effect of this weapon is the fact that he can inflict -6 attack and defense debuff on the foe during the combat, and if the foe can make a follow-up attack, then he can reduce damage from foe's first attack by 75%. So this is really reminiscent of Valentine Gustav. His weapon also works pretty similarly to this, and he's basically going to be a blue Gustav in a sense, because he's going to be having quite similar stat spread, I imagine. And this is my stat speculation on him. He's going to be having high attack, high defense, and also good resistance. Really optimized, and he has got defense res ideal. So that's a pretty good skill for him, making him bulky, and Crafty Fighter is going to be giving him the guard effect similar to how it does on Gustav. And then he has got a new exclusive skill in Surtr's, Portent, and this is basically a super menace skill, a spectrum menace skill in a sense. So if he's within 4 spaces of a foe, he can inflict them with -5 debuff to all of their stats, and he can get +5 buff to all of his stats. So the speed differential is actually a bit anti-synergetic with the C-Spear Lance, because, not C-Spear, C-Seer Lance, because you're going to be having that 10 speed differential by debuffing the speed of the opponent and buffing Surtr up himself with the speed. So the enemy needs to double him if he wants to get the damage reduction. So it might be a bit annoying, but still a very good skill. But at higher investments, you would definitely want to run like near save on him. He's going to be just as good of a near save unit as Gustav is, honestly, because of his high defense, I imagine. And that is going to be his base kit. So a Spectrum Menace skill, which is kind of expected, because Surtr's Menace was actually a threaten skill, like a Spectrum threaten skill. So he's going to trigger his Bonfire and take out this Axe Dragon, and I've pretty much used that to calculate the stats of his. But the thing is that he's not outclassing Brave Hector, who's been in the game for a long time, and he has got his excellent weapon Refine. So every Lance armor is basically competing for the second spot. So Brave Hector is still better, but Surtr can still be a really good near save armor unit, similar to Gustav. So that is Surtr, and let's move on to the next unit, and that is going to be Pirate Naesala. So we did see his stats in the Japanese FEH channel, and we finally see his new skill, which was teased to us. So he is a red flying beast, really dunking on Tibarn, because his weapon is just so stacked. So he has got Crossbones Claw, which gives him -1 special cooldown, and that makes Glimmer a 1-turn special and makes Gale Force a 4-turn special. So if you run Heavy Blade on him, then he can easily trigger Gale Force. If he's alone, then he can inflict -6 speed and defense debuff on the foe during the combat, and he also gets partial null follow-up. So he can bypass the follow-up negation. For example, Legendary Edelgard, he can still double her. So that is really good, because a lot of these PD player phase units do struggle against follow-up negation, and having that partial null follow-up pretty much allows him to just double any kind of opponent, because he's going to be extremely fast, as you can see. And then he has got another effect in his weapon. So if he's solo and if he's transformed, then he basically gets the dive bomb effect, which is absolutely amazing, because this is like a better dive bomb, doesn't even have an HP threshold. So you need him to be transformed and you need him to be alone to get the effects. And then he has got the standard Flying Beast effect, giving him that extra movement. So overall, this is a very stacked weapon, which is going to be making him an excellent Gale Force unit, definitely better than Red Tibarn for sure. So Red Tibarn is just really sad after seeing this Naesala in the same color as well, and he can also run Speed Defense near Trace, because he doesn't really need to run Dive Bomb, because that is already present in his weapon. So this allows him the access of Canto, which is super good, and then he has got Attack Speed Solo. And then we come to the new inheritable skill, Stall Ploy 3. So at start of turn, it inflicts stall status on foes in the cardinal directions of the unit if they have got less HP than Naesala, or the unit that you're running the skill on. And the stall status is basically, it's like a panic if you have got any kind of movement increase. So if the opponent has got any kind of movement buff, like from Armored Boots or Brave Edelgard or Legendary Seagard, then it converts that effect into restricting their movement to 1 space. So this is really good because this can pretty much, stop someone like Brave Edelgard from having that 2 movement, stop Legendary Secret from having that increased movement. But still, it is going to be a Ploy skill at the end of the day, so you have to plan and be in the cardinal direction to really use that effectively. So it's a nice counter to Legendary Secret, but we already have Safety Fence, so that is also going to be providing you a way of dealing with Legendary Secret. So another thing which you can use against him, and this is going to be a premium skill, locked to a 5-star seasonal unit, so definitely not that easy to get, and he's a red unit too. So that is his new skill. Like odd recovery, even recovery, Kia staff, stuff like that is going to be kind of getting rid of it, I believe, in Aether Raids defense if you even run the skill against Legendary Secret. We'll still have to test it out, and he has got attack speed solo, of course, which synergizes really well. So Naesala's base kit is absolutely fantastic. He does have pretty good attack stat as well, but unfortunately he'll have to use Heavy Blade. And from his weapon and from the near trace, he doesn't really get the attack debuff on the opponent. So it is going to be a bit annoying for you to trigger those Heavy Blades, and flying units cannot have access to Flashing Blade. And he's going to be using his Glimmer here. Glimmer can also be triggered on your Dive Bomb second hit, so that is good. You want to make sure that he's always transformed and he's alone. So those are his conditions. Definitely a pretty strong unit. And then we move on to the 4-star focus unit of this banner, Vika, and she is a colorless flying beast. So we did see her stats as well in the FEH channel. So she has got insanely high resistance, and now it makes sense why she's got that high resistance. Because Ebon Pirate Claw gives her +3 resistance, and it has Sabotage Defense and Sabotage Resistance built into it, and she also comes with Sabotage Attack on top of it. So she can be a really good support unit because of these triple sabotage skills, and that can be really good if you're running her with someone like Gunthra or Mail Morgan or with any kind of broadleaf fan user. So she can be an excellent support unit because of her high resistance, and then you can also run Phantom Resistance Sacred Seal to make it even better. But still she can function offensively because another effect of her weapon does give her +5 attack, speed, and resistance during the combat if the foe is above 75% HP. So those extra stats are really nice for, just performing offensively. And then she's got the Beast Transformation condition, which is pretty standard. But most of the time she's just going to be used as a support unit, but can work offensively as well. But when it comes to being offensive, she definitely gets outclassed by Pirate Hibbarn, who's a premium colorless flying beast, and he's just a much better Gale Force unit. Vika might have attack super boon that might help her in Heavy Blade triggers if you want to run a Gale Force build, because her offensive stat spread isn't really all that bad. She's got good speed and she's got workable attack stats, so if she has a super boon and attack, I think that would be really good. So I know many people are going to be trying to merge her up or just get her because she's a 4-star focus, and for a 4-star focus she's quite unique as a colorless flying beast, and she can support pretty well. Just a one-off copy can be useful for debuffing and can be used with Pelagian units and broadleaf fan users. And the final unit that we have on this banner is going to be Pirate Hinoka and Camilla. So they are a duo unit, and she is a green flying archer. So in the FEH channel, we did see some like a lot of effects from her weapon, and now we can finally see her preferred weapon. So it's Mermaid Bow, giving her +3 attack, and it's also effective on armored units, kind of reminiscent of Kinshi Hinoka. And at start of combat, if she's above 25% HP, then she can get +6 attack and speed during the combat, and she can also have the adaptive damage, so that is going to be pretty good. But a lot of the tanks are going to be running Mystic Boost Sacred Seal, so that will disable the adaptive damage, and she's going to be hitting the defense then. And the secondary effect of her weapon does require 2 conditions. It requires her to be faster than the opponent, and if she has got the weapon strangle advantage, then she can basically get a brave hit. So it becomes a conditional brave weapon, and that will use the speed check, of course, and she will need to have the weapon strangle advantage. So this kind of armor effective bow is going to be pretty nice against blue armor units, but unfortunately the most popular blue armor unit is going to be Brave Hector, and he doesn't have the armor weakness after the weapon refine, so she's not going to be getting the effective damage. Most of the well-built Hectors are going to be running Mystic Boost Sacred Seal, and they are going to be running Special Fighter and Bonfire. So Hinoka is not going to be able to charge up her specials, and she's not able to get that adaptive damage against most of the well-built Hectors. But still, because of the weapon strangle advantage and her good attack stats, she can still damage him. But I'm not really too sure if she can even kill Brave Hector with those brave hits, because there's going to be no special, there's going to be no adaptive damage. The weapon strangle is going to be there, but still it is going to be a hard matchup, because if Brave Hector survives, then Hinoka is dead because she's eating a bonfire. So not the most convincing Brave Hector counter in my opinion. And the fact that she only gets the Brave effect against blue units means that she's not gonna have the greatest matchup against Fallen Edelgard, Brave Edelgard, and a lot of the other armor units, which she could have killed honestly if she could get the Brave hit on them. But unfortunately she's not able to get that, and of course being a ranged flying unit, she cannot have access to dive bombs, so she's gonna be pretty frail, and she might be dying against those kinds of armor units. So the secondary effect is definitely quite tight, doesn't let her kill as many armor units as she would be able to, but still she's a very strong unit with good offenses. She's got 40 and 40 offensive stat spread, which is really good for a flying archer, and she also gets extra offenses from this bow. And the armor effectiveness is nice, but killing them is gonna be a big priority, because if you do not kill them in a single hit, then they're gonna be killing you back. She's also got Harsh Command plus Attack Speed Push 4. Attack Speed Push 4 does not have good synergy with the HP threshold of her weapon, because she needs to be above 25% HP. Usually on these kinds of units, running self-damaging skills is not the best idea, but I guess it is nice for offensive capability. And then she's got Speed Resistance Fortress. Again, if the opponent has got Mystic Boost, then this resistance debuff means absolutely nothing. At least with Defense Res Rain, she can still target their defense even if they've got Mystic Boost Sacred Seal, but a Trace Scale is really nice for the counter effect. And Defense Res Rain, honestly I expected this on some kind of dragon unit, but it is present on Pirate Hinoka. So we can see her stats there, and we just know them. She's probably gonna have some attack super boon, I'm guessing. Not that hard to guess honestly nowadays. So she's got this duo skill which gives +6 attack and speed buff to herself and the flying allies within 3 rows and 3 columns centered on her, and they can also move 1 extra space. And she also inflicts the gravity effect on any kind of ranged unit in 3 rows and 3 columns centered on Hinoka. So that is pretty good, but you're not going to be able to use this competitively in Aether Raids offense, because most good teams are going to be having duos hindrance. The increased movement is pretty nice though for flying units, for their offensive capability. And Hinoka, being a ranged unit, of course cannot run Odd Tempest or even Tempest, so that is pretty nice, and she's going to destroy this poor blue armor. So I guess she really destroys Pirate Surtr, but against Brave Hector, she's going to be having a hard time even being a green unit. So that is going to be the banner, and we're going to be getting this in 2 days. This is going to be lasting for an entire month, so of course you should try to wait for Choose Legends before you summon on this banner, especially if you're a free-to-play player, because none of these units are really must-have. I mean, Surtr is like a blue Gustav essentially. Naesala is definitely pretty good as a flying red beast, but we do have a lot of Gale Force units as it is. And then we have got Vika. She's certainly quite unique, but mostly useful as a support unit. And Pirate Hinoka is definitely pretty strong, but she's going to be having the Brave effect only against the blue units. So that is going to be the banner, and I'll be covering this with the builds and stuff when we get the data mine and the actual banner comes out. So that is going to be the banner. Let me know what you think about this banner and the new skill. And I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support. If you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as Pirate Surtr against Pirate Hinoka. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.